Welcome to our presentation on understanding unconscious bias. Together, we will explore the concept of unconscious bias and its impact on decision-making and interactions. Unconscious bias is a pervasive and often subtle phenomenon that affects us all. It stems from the human brain's natural tendency to categorize and make quick judgments based on limited information. Throughout this presentation, we'll delve into what unconscious bias is, its various forms, and how it can influence our behavior, particularly in the workplace and broader society. So, what is unconscious bias? Unconscious bias refers to the attitudes and stereotypes that affect us without our conscious awareness. It's important to recognize that we all have biases and they can influence our actions and decisions. Our brains process an enormous amount of information daily. To cope with this cognitive overload, we develop mental shortcuts or biases. These biases help us make quick decisions, but can also lead to unintentional discrimination. Unconscious bias is not necessarily negative, but it becomes problematic when it results in unfair treatment or perpetuates stereotypes. It's essential to differentiate between bias as a cognitive function and harmful bias in behavior. Now, let's look at types of unconscious bias. Unconscious bias comes in various forms, such as affinity bias, confirmation bias, and gender bias. Understanding these types can help us identify and address bias in different contexts. Affinity bias involves favoring people who share similar characteristics, such as race, gender, or background. It can lead to a lack of diversity and inclusion in decision-making processes. Confirmation bias is the tendency to seek out information that confirms our existing beliefs and ignore information that contradicts them. This bias can reinforce stereotypes and limit our ability to see different perspectives. Gender bias, another common type, can lead to unequal opportunities and treatment based on one's gender. It's important to be aware of how gender bias can affect everything from hiring decisions to career advancement. What is the impact of unconscious bias? The impact of unconscious bias can be profound. It can lead to unfair treatment, exclusion, and perpetuate inequality. Recognizing and mitigating its effects is crucial for a more equitable society. Unconscious bias can result in unequal opportunities, making it challenging for marginalized groups to advance in their careers or participate fully in society. It can lead to microaggressions, which are subtle, often unintentional acts or comments that convey bias and can be hurtful or offensive. Addressing unconscious bias is not just a matter of fairness, it's also critical for organizations and societies to tap into the full potential of their diverse talent. How can we recognize unconscious bias? Recognizing unconscious bias starts with self-awareness. It's about acknowledging our own biases and being open to understanding how they affect our perceptions and interactions with others. Self-awareness is the first step toward mitigating unconscious bias. It involves reflecting on our beliefs, attitudes, and experiences that may shape our biases. It's also important to develop empathy and actively listen to others' experiences to gain insights into different perspectives. Training and education can play a significant role in helping individuals recognize their biases and take steps to mitigate them. Can unconscious bias be overcome? Overcoming unconscious bias requires ongoing effort. It involves educating ourselves, engaging in diversity training, and creating inclusive environments where diversity is celebrated and respected. Education is a powerful tool in addressing unconscious bias. It can increase awareness, challenge stereotypes, and provide strategies for interrupting biased behavior. Diversity and inclusion training can help organizations foster a culture of respect and equity. It should be ongoing and include discussions about bias in various contexts. Building inclusive environments involves not only policy changes, but also a commitment to valuing and leveraging the diverse perspectives and talents of all individuals. In conclusion, Addressing unconscious bias is a collective responsibility. By actively working to mitigate bias and fostering inclusivity, we can build a more fair and just society for everyone. Thank you for joining us in this exploration of unconscious bias. It's crucial to remember that bias is a natural part of the human experience, but it's our responsibility to minimize its negative impact and create a world where diversity is celebrated and everyone has an equal opportunity to thrive. As individuals and as a society, we can make a difference by committing to ongoing self-awareness, education, and inclusive practices. This journey toward a more equitable future is one that we must all embark on together. Before wrapping up, we invite you to explore further the subject of unconscious bias and its impact on decision-making. If you're interested in bringing this development session to your organization or learning more about unconscious bias, please get in touch with us. We are committed to helping organizations and individuals navigate the challenges posed by unconscious bias in the workplace. Our tailored programs can provide your employees and leadership teams with the necessary tools to recognize, address, and mitigate the risks associated with unconscious bias. To learn more, contact us and our team will be happy to assist you on your development journey. Thank you for your time and interest in understanding this topic. Together, we can create more inclusive and equitable environments.